So you'll continue this process, meeting with 10 customers and then modifying our hypotheses through the 50. What should happen here is you'll have a seemingly nebulous cloud about what your startup is about be reduced into 4 key pillars that which you can execute on. So what that means is you may have asserted that there's 5 different features of the problem, and you've heard through customer discovery that there's actually only 4 that you got right and there's 2 that you missed. Well, that actually strengthens your problem hypothesis. In the same regard, we want to match up our features of the solution to that problem hypothesis, and the customer may have valued 3 of them and given us 2 other things that we hadn't thought about. With regard to the price and go-to-market strategies, similar things. Toward the end of this process, you'll have an epiphany, hopefully, that says, wow, this is the exact business that I'm supposed to be in. It's this specific problem. It's not this stuff over here. It's this specific features of the solution. I got some of that right, some of it wrong. This is the price that they say they're willing to pay me for, and this is how I get into the customer's hands. It should be very crystal clear, and you should have a big realization at the conclusion of the customer discovery process if you're successful. So now you may be thinking to yourself is, wow, I need to talk to 50 people. And that can be pretty daunting, and we understand that. But you got to do it. So the question is, for those that are a little bit scared about cold calling and getting out there and hearing that your baby's ugly, how do you go about finding 50 customers to talk to? Certainly, you can leverage your networks, but we would advise you against utilizing your friends and your family because they're not going to tell you that your baby is ugly. We do advise that you leverage LinkedIn, other social networks, introductions to other contacts, etc., that may be your potential customers. When you're approaching those folks, if you have some trepidation about it, it's helpful to reframe them not as customers, but as startup friends. You're not asking them for the sale yet. You're just looking for feedback. And when you use the words, hey, I'm looking for some help, can you give me 5 to 10 minutes of your time? People are going to be willing to give you that to you 90% of the time. So it's unlikely that you'll face a lot of rejection as a result of cold calling and reaching out to folks, asking for help as you build your new venture. And remember that friends are more resilient than customers. So they're going to allow you some leadway, and they're going to want to learn and grow with you during this process. So by conducting a customer discovery interview with your startup friend and then going back to them later and saying, I think I was listening, what did you think about this? And maybe you got a little bit wrong, maybe a little bit right, they're going to still be with you on the journey and not outright reject you and not want to conduct business with you. So simply reframing them from customers to friends should hopefully get you over the hump to get to your 50 interviews. So that's customer discovery in a nutshell. If you are a startup in one of our programs, we'd have you start building customer personas right now, figuring out your customer segments in great specificity, building a list of 50 customers by which you could contact them for discovery interviews, building your 4 hypotheses. We'd have you build them on a Word document, 1 hypothesis per sheet, so that you actually can take notes on during the interview process. Note that if you actually have a multi-sided platform, you're going to have to do this for each customer segment. And so that means if you had a 2-sided platform, you'd actually have 100 interviews to conduct and not just 50. So we wish you good luck, and we're here to help. So that concludes what we had to talk about for today. Remember, there's only 2 steps to starting up: start and never stop.